Sports Daily Show for this very special day, this Veterans Day. I hope all of you are having a wonderful Saturday, a wonderful start to your weekend. We've got a lot of sports ahead of us today. College football, NFL obviously tomorrow with NBA and NHL mixed in between the 2 days. The clock sounds and we're ready to kick things off here as it is 10 o'clock here in the morning and we are ready to go. If you are watching on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick, thank you so much for joining us. Butt Fumble Sports is a sports content company created by a sports fan for you sports fans at home, here to help you guys out with everything you need, from fantasy football advice to sports betting advice, and obviously we'll rant about a lot of sports. What's going on with Michigan, we're going to keep track of that today as well. Appreciate all of you guys joining us early in the morning to get your fantasy advice and sports betting advice for today, tomorrow, and we are going to make sure we shout out the troops, whether you have served, you're serving, or you're consider serving. Thank you so much for all of those out there that protect us, that make this day possible, that make every day possible. We get to watch sports, we get to live in freedom, we get to do things that other places in this world, they don't have the ease or the comfort of, and it's all because of those that protect our borders, protect us here at home and abroad. So thank you so much. We really want to encourage you guys today throughout the show to donate to the Wounded Warrior Project and to the Pat Tillman Foundation. I know a lot of you guys like to contribute to the show. A lot of you guys support Butt Fumble Sports in a number of ways. Today, if you could, go make a small donation. It doesn't need to be a lot, but make a donation. The Pat Tillman Foundation is a wonderful organization that helps soldiers who come back from duty and helps them adjust back to life, whether they're wounded or whether it's the invisible signs of wounds. Also helps the families of those who have fallen. And of course, the Wounded Warrior Project, a wonderful organization that helps troops that come home, again, get reacclimated to society after serving. If there is anyone out there that served that's watching, thank you guys so much. Hit me up off the air, Butt Fumble Sports on Instagram. I'd love to give you guys some free merch. So if you've served, please hit me up. I'd love to help you guys out in any way I can to say thank you for all that you've done. So again, 2 organizations I'd encourage you to reach out to: Pat Tillman Foundation, Wounded Warrior Project, 2 that we absolutely love. So a big shout out to all of you guys. Now, this is what we're going to do today. We are going to talk a lot of fantasy football and sports betting. So make sure you throw your questions and comments in the chat. I know I'm going to do a lot of talking today, so forgive me if my voice goes a little weak. We've been having a great show last few days, so I've been doing a lot of talking. But with that said, hope you guys hit that follow button. Hope you subscribe. We're going to jump right into things today and get right into picks. I'm actually going to give out a free pick just to say thank you to everyone for joining us on this early day. Giving out a free pick to kick things off. First one, Rutgers, Iowa. Great underplay as always with Iowa in the mix. And I'm doing it once again. I'm taking Rutgers, Iowa, under 30.5. A free pick for college football to kick things off. So let's get started. By the way, Ro, Navy bet. Go Navy, beat Army. Great to have you with us, Ro. Thanks so much for your service. Start Purdy or Baker Mayfield? Great question. It's a real challenge between the two, but I'm going to lean just slightly towards Brock Purdy. Better matchup overall. The Tennessee Titans are not a good pass defense, but they've actually been better this year than last year. Meanwhile, the Jacksonville Jaguars are a bottom 3 pass defense. I'm going to go Brock Purdy, Row, off the bye. With Deebo Samuel healthy, I'll go Purdy over Mayfield. Thanks so much for the question. Conde, start Flowers over Shaheed or Gabe Davis? No, it's Gabe Davis. Absolutely Gabe Davis. I really don't like Zay Flowers this week. I'd avoid him. It's the Jerry Show. Powell or Will Levis? I really like Will Levis this week, so I would encourage you guys, if you do have Will Levis, this might be a week to start him. Paul, thanks to our troops, of course. Gus Edwards, Demario Douglas, or Christian Watson at the flex tomorrow? Ooh, good question. I'm leaning maybe slightly towards Demario Douglas. It's between Douglas and Watson. I have more faith in the running game of the Green Bay Packers than I do the passing game. I might go with Demario Douglas. He might have the best game, Paul. Xander, trade Tony Pollard, Mike Evans, and Kirk for Amon-Ra St. Brown. No, you're giving up way too much in that deal, Xander. If you're giving up Pollard, Evans, and Kirk, you're giving up way too much to acquire Amon-Ra St. Brown. Bailey, I'm pumped for Eagles-Chiefs rematch next week. Who isn't? I mean, the NFL's only getting better as we wean out some of these bad matchups like the Panthers-Bears, but it's going to get really good over the next few weeks. ID Maggio, James Cook, or Christian Kirk? Great question. I prefer Christian Kirk just a little bit, ID Maggio. Mr. Lopez, Jordan Addison or Najee Harris? It's a good question. Thank you so much, Daryl G. So Najee might actually have a decent game, but I still like Jordan Addison more. Najee's got a good matchup, but I actually like Jaylen Warren more in that game. So Mr. Lopez, if it was between Addison and Warren, I might lean towards Warren, but I can't trust Najee week to week. I'll go Jordan Addison. By the way, in the games in which Justin Jefferson has not played, the Vikings are undefeated this year. Don't know if he's going to play tomorrow. Kind of an interesting stat, though. This guy has Pittman, Devontae Smith, Ayuk, Madison, and I have Adams. Who should I go for? I might go for Ayuk. I might go for Devontae Smith because Devontae Smith, low value now, but could have a lot of upside. But I like Ayuk overall probably. For Devontae, it's probably not enough. If you could get Pittman and Ayuk, if you could get a combination of the two, Madison I don't really want. Nathan, Boyd, Amari Cooper, Christian Watson, Demario Douglas. Nathan, I'd go with Boyd. It's the Jerry Show asks Amari Cooper, Gibbs, Walker, pick two, please. I'd go Gibbs and Walker, and I'd sit Amari Cooper. Zach, B22, trade Josh Allen and Josh Jacobs for A.J. Brown and Jackson. Jackson? What Jackson am I thinking of? I don't know a Jackson right now. I'm sorry. Nathan, Lamar or Stroud? I'd go C.J. Stroud. Rob McDonald, Warren or Gabe Davis in the flex? Ooh, that's a tricky one. I'm going to lean just slightly towards... Warren. I don't feel great about that, though. Gabe Davis is so hot and cold, and I feel like this is a week in which he's going to deliver. I wish you could start them both, actually. But Warren's the safer play. So, Rob, if you want the higher upside, it's Davis. If you want the safer play, it's Warren. Thanks for joining us this morning, Rob. George, Kyler or Sam Howell? Tough one. Sam Howell has been a top 10 fantasy quarterback this year. He's really been a top 8 overall. That said, I don't know what we're getting from Kyler just yet, so I'll go Howell for this week, George. Nathan, I have Andrew stacked, though. Should I start Stroud? I would start Stroud. I don't know what to do with Damian Pierce. Stivo's channel, he's not playing this week. He might be at the point where you can drop him. DeBears, Russell Wilson or Derek Carr? That's a really interesting question right now. It should be Derek Carr based on the matchup, but Derek Carr has been suspect of late. I'll still say Derek Carr, DeBears, but I understand the struggle of it. Donkey Boy, George Pickens or Tank Dell? Great question. I'm going to lean just slightly, I think, towards Tank Dell. Green Bay Packers are a better pass defense, so I'll lean towards Tank Dell on that one, Donkey Boy. Chris Ingham, should I trade Garrett Wilson for Stroud and Hollywood Brown? I also have Fields, but picked up Purdy. I actually like the trade overall. I like getting Stroud and Hollywood Brown because Hollywood Brown may have some upside of his own with Kyler Murray now back. Matt Roma, Trevor Lawrence or Purdy? I'd rather have Purdy tomorrow. Purdy over Lawrence. Do you think Jamar Chase will play? Yes, I do, Caleb. I do think he's going to play. Bobby, start one. Garrett Wilson, Tank Dell, Jordan Addison. It's a tricky one, Bobby, between Wilson and Dell. I'll go Dell because I trust Stroud more than I trust Zach Wilson, but it's a tricky one, Bobby. Stivo's channel, yeah, no one in my league wants him, but I don't know, would someone pick him up? Yeah, I doubt it. Oh, Lamar Jackson. Sorry, I thought there was a running back there. Josh Allen and Jacobs for... Yeah, I'd rather have A.J. Brown and Lamar. Zach B22, I'd rather have A.J. Brown and Lamar Jackson. Mr. Lopez, is Singletary a solid start tomorrow? Yes, he is. Solid start if you need the running back because of a bye week, or if you're just looking for someone off the flex because you don't really like your roster. I do think Devin Singletary could be a really strong play. Right now, the Cincinnati Bengals are a bottom 6 defense against the run, allowing just shy of 130 rush yards per game. No Damian Pierce. By the way, no Nico Collins. I actually think that actually adds to the value of Singletary because C.J. Stroud just can't pass his way through this game in the same manner that he did last week. So I think Devin Singletary has a lot of value and significance in the game. And it's the significance. Sometimes narrative plays into production as much as anything else. I think they're just going to have to utilize him to be able to open up the passing game against the Bengals. War Eagle, Stroud, or Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to go Stroud just barely. Again, it's a tricky one for me because one note that someone brought up on TV, and they're dead on about it, and that's why I bring it up to you guys. Trevor Lawrence has not performed as well in Jacksonville as he has elsewhere this season. He's going up against a defense that's coming off a bye, has a loaded pass rush. I think Trevor Lawrence has a good game, but not a great game. I'd rather have CJ Stroud, I think, even with Nico Collins being out. Would I do Pierce for Romeo Doubs or Pierce for Foreman? Absolutely. At this point, Stivo's channel, I just move on from Dameon Pierce. If I'm telling you I would drop him, it means whatever trade is available, I'd make the move. I actually might do it for Foreman, as crazy as it sounds. He's been performing for the Bears. He just consistently, he delivers downhill runs that get good yardage. I'm going to get back to the questions on TikTok in 1 second. Drew Johnson, I'd go Taysom Hill. Drew Johnson, I'd go Taysom Hill. I'm going to give out a college football pick for you guys because we just hit 2,000 likes. College football bet for you guys. Going to give out picks throughout the show. NBA, NHL, and college football bets. We have a lot of picks to give out, so every time we hit 2,000 likes, we'll give out a pick. Next pick I'm going to give out for you guys is Alabama, Kentucky. I'm going to take the over in this game. Alabama, Kentucky, over 45.5. I'm going to take the over in that game, Roll Tide overall. But I like Alabama over Kentucky, and I like the over in that game. That's the one I'm really giving out. Sully, Montgomery, Hollywood Brown, or Ridley. I'd go David Montgomery. Sully, I'd go David Montgomery on that one. Thanks so much for the question. Spencer Niles, start Gibbs or Javonte? Great question. I'm going to lean towards Javonte just because I'm worried that Gibbs won't get enough production with the split touches with David Montgomery, where Javonte, the Bills have a problem right now in their defense, and especially in the running game. I think Javonte could exploit it a little bit. The Broncos are going to have to run to be able to protect Russell Wilson. So I think I like Javonte Williams a little bit more, again, just because he's the primary back. Thanks for the question, Spencer. Zane, start Dell or Metcalf? Metcalf. Zane, Metcalf should have a really good game if the matchup means anything. Zane, love Metcalf this week. Ian, start flex Cook, Gibbs, McLaurin, or Mixon. I'd probably go McLaurin. It's close between Gibbs and McLaurin. Very close between the two, but I might lean just slightly towards Terry McLaurin. It's a close one, though. If you wanted to go Gibbs, I get it. Really quick, Houston Texans are not are better against the run than I looked at that yesterday, and yeah. Phillip 11-17, start 2. I'd start Boyd. And I think I'd start Gibbs in that situation, Phillip. It's close between Ridley and Gibbs. Boyd for sure I really like. I think I'll go Gibbs. It's close, though, Phillip, between Gibbs and Ridley. But I think I'll go Gibbs. Mike, Singletary or James Conner? Mikey, I'd go Singletary. Mikey, I'd go Singletary over James Conner. Mo, CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper? Mo, you got to go CeeDee Lamb. Jorge, good morning to you. Hope you're having a great morning, Jorge. Luis Martinez, who at the flex? Bijan, Metcalf, Deontay, or Debo? Really tough question, actually. Luis Martinez, just by a hair. I'm going to go Debo Samuel over Metcalf. Really close, but I'll go Debo over Metcalf just by the smallest of margins. Wish you could start them both. Start 2, Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon, or Tony Pollard. Easy one for me on this one. I'd start Jacobs and Pollard. Two of my favorite running backs this week are Jacobs and Pollard. So that goes for fantasy owners, DFS players, and of course those who want to take down some player prop bets. Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, two of my favorite running backs this week. Going to put together a lot of bets with them. Going to put them in a lot of DFS lineups. I'll take them in as many ways as possible. So really like those two this week. Marcus was trading away Devontae Adams and Mixon for Keenan Allen and Mostert. Yep, Marcos, love that deal. Marcos, I love it. Depressed Bears fan, great to see you. And thanks so much for subscribing, Depressed Bears fan. Devontae Adams, Scary Terry, or Amari Cooper. Oh, it's Scary Terry for me. Depressed Bears fan, definitely Scary Terry. Dom, pick one at the flex. Singletary, Lockett, Amari Cooper, or Gus. Dom, it's Devin Singletary. It's very close between Lockett and Singletary. I might lean towards Lockett, but the issue is I like Singletary just because he's going to get more carries overall. Lockett's going to be contending for targets with DK and JSM. The issue is I think Lockett may be able to get into the end zone, Dom. So it's really between Singletary and Lockett. Kind of wish you could start both of them. But if I had to go one, I might lean towards Singletary just a little bit. Jorge, Baker, Goff, or Geno. Jorge, I definitely go Jared Goff. I'm a big believer in Jared Goff being maybe among the best fantasy quarterbacks this week. Chargers are just bad against the pass. I understand that they've had an improved pass rush with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, but frankly, they're facing the best offensive line they faced in a long time in the Detroit Lions. So I feel pretty good about the fact that Jared Goff is going to be able to attack this secondary of the Chargers. Megan, Jamar Chase or Levis this week? You have a league in which I'm picking between a quarterback. Jonathan, thanks so much for the confetti. If I'm picking between Jamar Chase and Will Levis, that's an interesting one. I'd probably go Jamar Chase, but if you're asking Lamar Jackson or Will Levis, if that's a switcheroo of letters, I'd go Will Levis over Lamar Jackson. That's a separate one. It's the Jerry Show. Will Levis or Stroud? That's a great question as well. I'm going to go Will Levis, actually. Will Levis has the better matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers secondary. It's the Jerry Show. I'll take the gamble on Will Levis. Stroud was fantastic, but he has a tougher matchup this week. No Nico Collins. I'll go Will Levis. By the way, guys, speaking of Will Levis, really like DeAndre Hopkins this week. I've mentioned that before. I'll mention it again. Kevin Perez, CJ Stroud or Prescott? Really tricky one. I'm going to go Stroud. I think the matchup favors him a little bit more. And I think the Cowboys are going to run really successfully with Pollard. I think it's going to be a running game. I think Prescott may have a lesser week when it comes to workload. Meanwhile, I think Stroud's going to have to contend with Joe Burrow and putting up some points. So I wouldn't be surprised if Stroud has to throw a lot in the second half of that game. Again, might impact the value of Singletary a little bit, but I don't think too much actually. We just hit 4,000 likes, so I'm going to give out another pick for you guys. We're going to give out an NBA pick for this one. We'll give out an NBA pick. We're going to take the Warriors on the money line tonight. Warriors on the money line. We'll give out another college football bet when we hit 6,000 likes. At 6,000 likes, we'll give out another college football bet. We also have NHL picks we'll give out as well. And of course, if you guys want, we'll even give out a preview of an NFL pick that I've been chewing on early. Max, start McBride or Watson in the flex. It's a tricky one. I actually might start McBride. Wilbur, Waddle, and Saquon for Amon-Ra St. Brown. A good trade? No. Wilbur, I think you're giving up too much. Captain Obvious, I benched Foreman. Well, you're Captain Obvious. Like, of course you're going to bench Foreman because Captain Obvious doesn't make the right decision. He makes the obvious decision. And Captain Obvious, everyone would have benched Foreman unless you watched Butt Fumble Sports. Dilly, I need a flex. Gabe Davis, Kincaid, or Cook. I'd go Kincaid just barely over Gabe Davis. It's very tricky because they're contending for targets. Gabe Davis might get the touchdown. I think Kincaid gets more targets overall. I'm going to trust the guy who gets more targets than the guy who may get the one big play. So I'll go Kincaid. I know it's a bit of a risky play, but that's where I'm going to go with that one. Aaron, start 3. Pollard, Eckler, Breece Hall, Jacobs. Ooh, tricky one. Aaron, I'd go Pollard, Breece Hall, and Jacobs. Aaron, believe it or not, Eckler would be the one I would sit. It would be Pollard, Breece Hall, and Jacobs. However, most people who are watching would go, how can you sit Austin Eckler? It is a tricky decision to make. Fiji's, choose 3. I'd go Breece Hall. I'd go Ramondre Stevenson. And if that J is a JT, I'd go Jonathan Taylor. Sherry, pick 2. Wilson, Boyd, Pickens, Jerry, Judy. Okay, Sherry, I'd go Boyd. And I'm going to lean just slightly towards Garrett Wilson. Do I feel great about that? No. But I feel better about that matchup than I do Pickens. Jerry Jeudy's the tricky one. Jerry Jeudy could have a decent game, but I just can't trust it enough. I actually like the fact that Garrett Wilson's the wide receiver 1. That's what's making the difference, Sherry. Cortland Sutton being wide receiver 1 versus Jeudy. Garrett Wilson, they're going to throw him the ball. So if nothing else, if you're in a PPR, I'd feel better about it. So it'd be Wilson and Boyd in a tricky 2 out of 4. So hopefully that goes well, because that's a tricky one there. Tricky one. I don't think Pickens has a big game. I think he's going to get covered well by Jair Alexander. David, trade Tyreek for Cooper Kupp and Allen. Tyreek's hard playoff schedule is scary. Yeah, but it's Tyreek Hill. Do I really doubt him? I don't know. I don't know, David. I don't love giving it up. I understand it. If you want to pull the trigger on it, I totally get it, though. N-Train, trade Jacoby Myers for Scary Terry. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Bear Wiggy, Kyler Murray, or Trevor Lawrence. I'll go Trevor Lawrence just because, guys, you guys have asked about Kyler Murray. Unless it's a terrible other option, I'm going to kind of fade Kyler Murray this week. I want to see it before I believe it. Oh, Fiji's. It's James. Fiji's. I'd go Breece Hall, Ramondre Stevenson, and I'm going to lean just slightly towards Bijan, actually. I'll lean towards Bijan. He has a good matchup. He should deliver, but we'll see. Christian Guerrero, I'd go JT. Christian Guerrero, I'd go JT. It's the Jerry Stroh, I'd go Levis. Jace G, I'd go Javonte Williams. Jace G, I'd go Javonte Williams. Grant, trade Aaron Jones and Addison for Bijan. No, I wouldn't do that, Grant. Would not do that deal. Zach, 79. I'm going to go Stroud. I just don't trust Carr in the passing offense enough, given the option of Stroud as the other quarterback. Zach, 79. I'll go CJ Stroud. Captain Obvious, how do you feel about Dell? Not as good as I would if Nico Collins were healthy. I mentioned this earlier. I actually think he performs better when he doesn't have primary defensive coverage on him. That said, he's going to get more targets overall. So I like him in a flex play. I like him in a wide receiver 2 play if you don't have a better option. But do I think he's going to have the kind of game he did last week? I don't think so. I don't think so. He could get you a touchdown. He could still have a good game. But I think the Bengals defense will commit more coverage to him. It's Dalton Schultz who I think could have a really big game for the Houston Texans pass offense. Peace, Faith, Shakir, Demario Douglas, or Trey McBride. Peace, Faith, I'm going to go Demario Douglas just barely. Just because he's the wide receiver 1 in that offense. I think they're going to pass a lot. Colts aren't a great pass defense. So, Peace, Faith, I'm going to go Demario Douglas just barely. Mark Andre, bench Adams over Pittman and Kirk. Yes, I'd rather have Pittman and Kirk starting tomorrow, actually. Anthony C, Flowers or Pickens? Ooh, tricky one. Don't like either one, to be honest. Really wish you could bench both of them. But if I had to go with one of them, man, I just can't tell you to take Flowers. Unless you're in a PPR league, Anthony, maybe then Flowers has additional value because at least then he'll be targeted a bunch of times. But I got to go Pickens on this one. Pickens has the better matchup, not by much, but I'd rather go Pickens over Flowers, Anthony. Not a great, not a fun decision, but it's a hold your nose and bear with it. Michael, wide receiver 2, Dobbs or Downs? I'd probably lean towards Downs. I kind of split the difference there with my mouth. Wide receiver 2, I'd go Josh Downs, Michael. Papa, James Conner, or Najee Harris? Najee Harris actually has the better matchup. I kind of got to say Najee Harris. Like, Najee Harris, as much as I don't like Najee Harris, he has the better matchup tomorrow, actually. Zach, 79, I'd go DK. Zach, 79, I'd go DK over Evans. Pedro Cerna, pick 3. Allen, Adams, Wilson, Dell. I'd go Allen, Wilson, Dell. Pedro Cerno, I'd go Allen, Wilson, Dell. Allen, Wilson, Dell. Luis Martinez, I'd hold on to Bijan. I'd hold on to him. Bear Wiggy, pick 2. I would lean towards McLaurin and Lockett. Bear Wiggy, I'd go McLaurin and Lockett. At 6,000 likes, guys, we're going to give out another college football bet. Make sure you guys are tapping that screen. By the way, if you want to show your support for Butt Fumble Sports, do something a little bit different today. Go make a donation to the Wounded Warrior Project or the Pat Tillman Foundation, guys. Happy Veterans Day to all those who have served. We are so grateful for all of those who have worn the uniform that make it possible for us to sit back and watch sports and not worry, not be concerned, not have fear, be able to enjoy our lives with this beautiful freedom that we have in this country. So thank you so much to all those who have served. If you're watching right now, no matter the platform, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick, if you want to show your love for Butt Fumble Sports, if you just want to show your love for this amazing existence that we have in this country, make sure you go make a donation to the Wounded Warrior Project or the Pat Tillman Foundation today. $5, $10, doesn't need to be a lot, but every dollar you make, I know for a fact in those organizations goes to the right places. I'm a big fan of those two organizations, and I hope you are as well. So if you want to show some love, go show it to the proper people today. Wounded Warrior Project and the Pat Tillman Foundation. Really hope you guys support those two organizations today. And by the way, thank you so much for watching the show. Thank you guys so much for listening to me say that. I know people hate hearing people hit them up about money, but if there's ever a day, this is the day. Veterans, thank you guys so much. Rich Matthews, hey mate. Henry, Mixon, Ayuk, Olave, Gibbs, or Wilson. Pick 4. Okay, if I'm picking 4, I'd go Ayuk, I'd go Olave, I'd go Gibbs, and I'd go Henry. I'll go Henry just last. I don't love it, but I'll go with those 4, Rich Matthews. That's Henry, Ayuk, Olave, and Gibbs. Henry, Ayuk, Olave, and Gibbs. Horry, Ford or Sutton. Horry Karras, I'd go Sutton. Horry Karras, I'd go Sutton. Eric, I'd go Carr over Murray just because bird in the hand versus 2 in the bush. Nick, pick 2. I'd go Stevenson and Pittman. Nick, I'd go Stevenson and Pittman. Kitty Cafe, Tank Dell or Christian Kirk. Ooh, tricky one. I'll go Christian Kirk. Kitty Cafe, I'll go Christian Kirk. Saul G, should I start Terry or Gus? I'd start Terry McLaurin and I'd start Goff. Sal G, I'd start Terry McLaurin and Goff. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Appreciate you guys being with us today. Chris Bruno, I'd go Pollard. Taysom Hill and Pollard, 2 of my favorite plays this week, but I'd go Tony Pollard. Christian Guerrero, D-Hop. Christian Guerrero, you got to go DeAndre Hopkins this week. If there's ever a week to play him, this is it. Holla back now, pick 2. I'd go Dell and I'd go Connor. Holla back now, I'd go Dell and Connor. War Eagle, I do like Noah Brown at the flex. War Eagle, I do like Noah Brown at the flex. John, San Francisco defense or the Vegas Raiders defense. John, I'd go Raiders defense. I'd go Raiders over 49ers. Bear Wiggy, Lockett or Boyd. Really tricky. I like them both a lot, but I'm going to go Boyd just barely. Bear Wiggy, I know Lockett has the better matchup, but more mouths to feed in that offense. I think Boyd actually is the better play. Start Dak this week or pick up Wilson, Heineke, or Derek Carr. I'd probably start Dak. It's a safe play. He might get a passing touchdown or 2. So even though we won't put up the big stats, I think it'll be a bigger running game for the Cowboys. I do think Dak is probably a safe play. I wouldn't take too many chances with some of the other options you mentioned. TJ, I'd go Dotson. TJ, I'd go Dotson over Reynolds. Thanks so much for the question, TJ. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. If you are, make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you're a member of this amazing community, this amazing team of sports fans that comes together every day to talk sports. Rich Matthews, Kittle or Kincaid? Really like them both, Rich Matthews, Kittle and Kincaid. I'll lean towards Kincaid just slightly, but really like them both. Flock Pats, I'd go Levis. Flock Pats, I'd go Will Levis. Think he has a good week. User 622, I'd go Olave. User 622, I'll go Olave over Demario Douglas. Silvano, how do you feel about Dell this week? Think his targets go up? Think his overall production might go down a little bit with the additional defensive coverage he receives with no Nico Collins? Deadpool, great to see you this morning. What QB to start, Hal, Purdy, or Lawrence? I'd go Brock Purdy. Deadpool, I'd go Brock Purdy, just barely. Best player prop bet this week. How about this? When we hit our live goal, I'll give out an NBA player prop bet for you guys. I do have one sitting ready for you guys. So I'll give out a player prop bet as soon as we hit our live goal. That guy, just, something to preview for tomorrow. That said, we have hit 6,000 likes. Perfect segue to allow me to give out another college football bet. We're going to give out another college football bet for you. And I am going to take Utah plus 10.5. I'm taking the Utah Utes plus 10.5 against the Washington Huskies today. I think this game's going to be a bit closer. Utah has played them very well over the last few years. Additionally, I just feel like this is a game where might be a total upset alert, but I think Washington comes out with the win. I bought it up a little bit. I think the spread right now is like at 8. I got it at 10.5. That way I'm on the better side of the touchdown field goal difference. But if you wanted to take this as a straight up underdog cover play, I do like it. I think Utah covers against Washington today. When we hit 8,000 likes, I'll give out another pick for today. And when we hit our live goal, I will give out an NFL player prop bet for tomorrow. Bob Mace, Stroud or Burrow. Bob Mace, I'd go Joe Burrow. Bob Mace, I'd go Joe Burrow. Big intelligent gentleman, who is a sleeper wide receiver I could pick up on my fantasy team. Demario Douglas is certainly one to consider. I think Tyler Boyd, if he's still available in your league, could have a massive week. I've actually heard of some people where Drake London got dropped in some leagues. Drake London's going to have a massive week if somehow he had fallen off the radar. I think JSN could have a good game, but I don't necessarily think I would slot him in. Too many mouths to feed ahead of him, but is he a sleeper? Like if you're in a 16, I know some people are in really big leagues. He's someone you could consider, but those are a few names that pop. As more come up throughout the show, I'll bring them up even more. Big into black intelligent gentlemen. That way you can get a better sense of who I'm thinking about. Ayuk is another one. Ayuk could have a really big game, but obviously he's owned in a lot of leagues. John, Laporta or Schultz, man, really tricky. Like them both, but I'm going to go Schultz just barely, and it's because the Cincinnati Bengals are the worst defense in the NFL against tight ends this year. So the matchup just by a hair favors Schultz. But really, John, you can't go wrong with either. I'd even consider flexing some tight ends this week. This is one of the rarest of weeks because of buys and everything else, some matchups with wide receivers. There are a bunch of tight ends. Schultz, Kincaid, Laporta, Kittle, Ferguson, they all have good matchups. They all could do really well. There are some starts in there at obviously the tight end, but also at the flex position for some of these guys. Katsu, should I trade Pacheco and Jacoby Myers and Ayuk for Keenan Allen and Brian Robinson? I think you're giving up a little bit too much, Katsu. I understand what you're going for, but I think you're giving up a little bit too much, ironically. I don't know if Keenan Allen gets you as much value as you think out of the two wide receivers you're giving up. Ryan Hazelwood, I'd go James Conner over Kareem Hunt. Ryan Hazelwood, I'd go Conner over Hunt. Christian Guerrero, D-Hop. Mamba is better. I'd go Kincaid over McBride. John, really appreciate you, man. Really appreciate you. AP Movies, trade Kamara for Henry half PPR? No. I think Kamara has incredible value down the home stretch of this season. I wouldn't give up Kamara right now. I have Justin Herbert for the stack. You sure? I'm going to say this, guys. A bunch of people talk to me about stacking. For DFS, I love stacking. For actual fantasy, I'm not as high on it, actually. I'm not a big stacker in season-long fantasy. Maybe some others are. If it's a really favorable matchup, if it's a no-brainer, like a Joe Burrow and a Jamar Chase, sure. But for the most part, I'm not as big on stacking teams as other people are in season-long fantasy. DFS, it's a great strategy. Season-long fantasy, it can get a little tricky. You can cannibalize yourself a little bit. Grant Carl, trade Kamara for Henry. Nope, Grant Carl, I'd go Kamara. I'd rather have Kamara, Grant Carl. Cade Otner, Logan Thomas. Ooh, really tricky one. I'm going to go Cade Otton, but this is another one where user 622, I like them both. I'll go Cade Otton just barely. Mel 626, I'd go Jalen Warren. Mel 626, I'd go Jalen Warren. Thanks for the question, Mel. Nick Foy, you got to go Deebo Samuel this week. Love Deebo Samuel. Really big on him, Nick Foy. Joshua Dobbs, Kyler Murray, or Baker Mayfield. I'd go Baker Mayfield. Out of that group, I'd go Baker. Jake Hurst. Metcalf or D-Hop. Great question. I'd go DeAndre Hopkins. Jake, Hopkins has the best matchup, one of the best matchups of the week. D-Hop has other mouths he's contending with in that Seahawks offense. Meanwhile, DeAndre Hopkins, Will Levis at least like 5-6 times a game is just going to chuck it up deep to him. If D-Hop wins just one of them, you cash in on big yardage and probably a touchdown. So Jake, just on that alone, not the slant routes, not the in-cutting routes, nothing else, just on the deep passes he'll probably get against that Buccaneers defense, I think Hopkins is the better play, Jake. Taysom Hill or Deontay Johnson, believe it or not, I might lean just slightly towards Taysom Hill. It sounds crazy, but Taysom Hill I think has more value. I think Deontay Johnson gets plenty of targets. If you're thinking about a player prop bet, Deontay Johnson on player, like overall receptions might be a good play. But I actually think Taysom Hill gets you more fantasy points. Speaking of player prop bets, I'm going to give out an NFL player prop bet when we hit our live goal. So if you want a free NFL player prop bet, help us out, get us to our live goal. Additionally, we'll give out another bet. We'll give out another college football pick when we hit 8,000 likes, guys. 8,000 likes will be the next college football pick we will give out. Just for those who are just joining the show now, we've given out 4 picks so far for today. Rutgers, Iowa, under 30.5. Alabama, Kentucky, over 40.5. Utah, plus 10.5 against Washington. That's Utah plus 10.5 to cover that spread. And the Warriors in basketball, Warriors on the money line. Those are the bets we've given out so far. We will continue to give out more throughout the course of the show. Stevenson or Bijan, tricky one here. I'm going to lean towards Stevenson just barely. I think Bijan has a better game, but I think Stevenson's the better play. I just trust him a little bit more. Tricky one because Bijan could have a bounce back week, but I'll go Stevenson. It's just safer right now. Nugget, do I trade Debo and Kyle Pitts for Mark Andrews? No. No, I wouldn't do that. I don't think you're getting enough value back. Cody, start Lockett or Wilson. Oh, I'd start Lockett. Cody. Jordan Tizard, Stroud or Levis this week. I'd go Will Levis just barely. Very, very close, but I'll go Will Levis against the god-awful Bucks pass defense. Cody Kessler, Myers or Addison. I'm going to go Jordan Addison. In part because if Justin Jefferson doesn't play, he's the wide receiver one. He'll get a lot of targets. Plus, that Jets pass defense. Kobe, I'd go with Addison. Kobe Kessler, I'd go Addison. Ghost, pick 2. Dell, Jones, Wilson, Ridley. Ghost, I'll go Jones and I'll go Dell. Between Dell and Ridley, I don't feel great about it. I'm going to lean towards Dell because at this point, Ridley has almost operated more like a wide receiver 2 with Kirk as a wide receiver 1. But I love Aaron Jones this week, guys. Aaron Jones is absolutely a player I like this week. Tyler A, Schultz or London in the flex. I got to go Drake London. As much as I love Schultz, look, I'd start Schultz as your tight end. It'd be hard for me to put another tight end over Schultz unless it's like Kincaid. That would probably be the only other tight end I'd put over Schultz, Tyler. But Drake London is going to have a good game. Drake London, if healthy, if a full go, which I expect him to be, great matchup this week. I'd go Drake London just barely over Schultz, but I'd put Schultz as my tight end. Mario, who's starting running back? I'd go Moss. Mario, I'd go Moss over Ford and Edwards, believe it or not. Mona L, great to see you this morning, Mona. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your weekend. Mona L, I'd go Gabe Davis. Mona L, I'd go Gabe Davis. Juan, I hope Penn State upsets Michigan. Juan, I'm going to give you a pick for that game a little bit later in the show. I'll probably hold on to that pick until we get to 10,000 likes. We are going to give out our next college football bet at 8,000 likes. So if you guys want another college football bet from us, we'll give that away at 8,000 likes. Matt Roma, need 2. Purdy, Dak, and Lamar. I'd go Purdy and Dak. Matt Roma, I'd go Purdy and Dak. Mario, appreciate the kind words. Hope you're having a great day. Butt Fumble Fantasy, good morning. Hope you're having a great Saturday. You want me to pick 3 from that group? I'd go Evans 1, Ayuk 2, Deontay Johnson 3. Michael Thomas doesn't just have legal issues, but I'm just not high on him overall. Evans, Ayuk, and Johnson would be the 3. Meatwad, trade Adams for Kirk and White. Meatwad, I actually would do that deal. Meatwad, I would make that trade. Justin, Dell, Olave, or Javonte Williams, I need 2. Justin, I'll go Olave and Javonte Williams. Really tricky one here, but I'll go Olave and Javonte Williams. Sean S. is taking the Browns on the money line. Okay. Not exactly a bet I have right now, Sean S., but everyone's now heard it. The show is recorded. We're going out to about 300 people right now across all of our platforms. So Sean S., Browns money line is your pick. We love it. Anonymous Gaming, I'd go Jalen Warren. Oh, no, yes. Anonymous Gaming, I'd go Jalen Warren. Anonymous Gaming, I'd go Jalen Warren. John, Levis, Walker, Foreman, Lamb, Olave, Schultz, Laporta, Raiders, McManus. Love the team. Love the team. Really strong this week, John. Well done. Should I drop Slant Boy for JSN full PPR? Who's Slant Boy? Dummy, man. Pluto. Who's Slant Boy? I do like JSN, though. I don't know who Slant Boy is, but whoever it is, let me know who it is, because I would love to get it. I'd love to be on the inside of that one. Ben, Jacobs or Pollard? Oof. Ben, start them both if you could. I like them both. I'll go Jacobs barely over Pollard, but I like them both. Oh, yeah, I'd go, I don't know if I drop Thomas for JSN. As much as I don't like Michael Thomas right now, given everything, I probably would hold on to him. He probably is still the better own than JSN right now. Maybe that's a dummy take, but dummy man, that's where I come out on it. Act JJ, I'd go Christian Kirk. Act JJ, I'd go Christian Kirk. The Olave and Devontae for Jamar Chase. You're giving up an awful lot, but I'd actually do it. I'd rather have Jamar Chase. Griffin 133, start 2. I'd start Barkley and Jones. Griffin 133, I'd start Barkley and Jones. Brody Waxer, I'd go Debo. Brody Waxer, I'd go Debo over Stevenson. We have just hit 8,000 likes, everybody. Thank you guys so much for supporting Butt Fumble Sports. We are going to now give out another college football bet. Another college football bet coming at you guys. So next college football pick I'm going to give out is going to be Tennessee and Mizzou, under 60.5. That's Tennessee, Missouri, under 60.5, everybody. So that's the 5th pick we've given out so far today. We're going to give out another pick at 10,000 likes. We're going to give out an NFL player prop bet when we hit our live goal. One more time, if you've missed the show so far, here are the 5 bets we've given out so far for all of those who are just joining us. Rutgers, Iowa, under 30.5. Rutgers, Iowa, under 30.5. Alabama, Kentucky, over 45.5. Again, Alabama, Kentucky, over 45.5. Next bet we gave out was Utah to cover plus 10.5. That's the Utah Utes plus 10.5 today. And then the pick we just gave out was Tennessee, Missouri, under 60.5. That's Tennessee and Missouri under 60.5. And we've given out one NBA pick so far. That's Warriors on the money line. Don't worry, though. We have more NBA picks to give out and more NHL picks to give out. We haven't given out a hockey pick yet. We were really hot with our hockey picks yesterday. We're going to give out a few of those today as well. But at 10,000 likes, I am going to give out my SHARPZ play of the day. At 10,000 likes, I'm going to give out the play that I like the most today, the bet that I have the most confidence in, that I feel the most confident in. Doesn't mean you need to take it, but I'm going to give out my SHARPZ play of the day at 10,000 likes, my favorite bet of the day. So tap that screen at 10,000 likes. I'll give out our SHARPZ play of the day. Let's get back to answering your fantasy questions in the meantime. Ken Shaw, I'd go Ramondre Stevenson. Ken Shaw, I'd go Stevenson over Cooper. Devin Jones, thanks so much for the TikTok. Abdel, Ridley or Kirk, better start. Christian Kirk at this point, Abdel. Christian Kirk has really become the wide receiver one there. Devin Jones, Dobbs, Murray, Howell, or Geno. Devin Jones, I'd go Geno Smith. Devin Jones, I'd go with Geno Smith. Thanks so much for supporting the show. Wyatt, you're the best, bud. Wyatt, you're the best, bud. Soundman Sam, Lamar Jackson or Dobbs. Ooh, tricky one. I'll go with... Wow, that's a really tricky one. I really don't like this one either way. If I had to go in one direction, I'll probably say Josh Dobbs just because the matchup against the Browns is so tough for Lamar. I'll go Dobbs and I'll go Raiders. Soundman Sam, I'll go Dobbs and Raiders. Aiden Sargent, Tua, Flowers, and Madison for Diggs. I'm okay with it, Aiden. I'm actually okay with it. As long as you have the depth on your bench to pull it off, I'd be okay with it. Jetton, Dell, or Deontay Johnson. Jetton, I'll go Dell just barely. The OG big fella, I've been up since 3 a.m. trying to figure out who can guard Al Horford, the OG big fella. I gotta say, that was awesome. The OG big fella, you just gave me a great chuckle right there. David Nobo, Tyler Boyd or Algier in a flex spot. Kind of a sneaky, tricky one here, but I'm going to go Tyler Boyd. That does bring up the fact, though, when we hit our live goal, when we get up to 100 roses, I'm going to give out a player prop bet for the NFL tomorrow. Just one to get you guys kind of pumped for tomorrow's action. So when we hit our live goal of 100 roses, we'll give out an NFL player prop bet. We have hit 10,000 likes, so I am going to give out my Sharps play of the day, everybody. This is my favorite bet of the day. This is the one I have the most confidence in. It's the one that I am putting the most money that I have into. Guys, you may not like it. You may hate it. You may want to kick me in the teeth about it. You may call me a butt fumbler on this one. But I'm taking Michigan on the money line. I'm taking the Wolverines to win today. They're the better team. They're motivated. They're pissed off. And frankly, I think Penn State is a little overrated. I think Penn State's a good football team, but I don't think they're on the caliber of Michigan. I think Michigan's going to put a whooping on Penn State today. Do I think Michigan's going to go undefeated the rest of the season if Harbaugh doesn't coach? No, I could see them losing to Ohio State. However, do I think Michigan's going to lose this game against Penn State? No. They've had Harbaugh there literally the entire time up until the buses went to the stadium. So I don't think there's going to be a big loss in head coach today. It's not like Harbaugh calls plays. They have an OC. They have a DC. He really is truly the head coach, just overseeing things during the games. I think they're going to be fine. I think J.J. McCarthy has a good game. I think Michigan wins. Michigan on the money line is my Sharps play of the day. For all of those that are new to Butt Fumble Sports, you can find every bet that I make every day for free on the SHARPZ app. SHARPZ is a social media app for sports bettors. Think of it like Twitter for sports bettors. It allows us to share our bets, comment on each other's picks. You can follow them. You can fade them. You can literally hit the bet and tail it if you connect your sports book. So if you want every bet that I make every day, just DM me on Instagram, Butt Fumble Sports on Instagram. I'll hook you up with a free referral code and link so you can get every bet that I make every day. So all you have to do, DM me on Instagram if you want that free referral code and link so you get every bet that I make. Parlays, game picks, total plays, player prop bets. Doesn't matter the sport, doesn't matter the type of bet. Every bet that I make for free, all you have to do is DM me on Instagram, Butt Fumble Sports on Instagram, to get that referral code and link to get every bet that I make every single day. We have hit 12,000 likes, so I'm going to give out another pick right now. I'm going to be very quick about it. I'm going to give out another pick for you guys. Next pick we're going to give out, I am going to take the Stars plus 1.5. Stars plus 1.5, a hockey pick for you guys. So Dallas Stars to cover plus 1.5. By the way, we're not done giving out picks. I actually now have to give out a player prop bet for the NFL because we just hit our live goal. Thank you guys so much for helping me hit my live goal. You guys are the absolute best. We are going to give out an NFL player prop bet right now. I actually just saw this one before I came onto the show doing my research a moment ago. I'll stash this one a little bit down here. It had to do with Tyler Algier. It's one of the reasons I mentioned it earlier in the show. Tyler Algier over 10.5 rush attempts. That's Tyler Algier over 10.5 rushing attempts. That's one of my favorite bets for tomorrow. Tyler Algier over 10.5 rushing attempts. Guys, Arizona Cardinals give up a lot of rushing attempts. We already know Arthur Smith is going to feed him the ball. Tyler Algier over 10.5 rushing attempts. I'll give out enough. Mike's, you are crushing it right now. I want to get back to some of these fantasy questions, but you keep helping me out with my live goal. So I'm going to give out another player prop bet for you guys. Another player prop bet for tomorrow to say thank you guys for helping me out. I'm going to take Jordan Love over half an interception tomorrow. Jordan Love over half an interception tomorrow against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's another NFL player prop bet for you guys. Again, every time we hit our live goal, we'll keep giving out player prop bets. We'll keep giving out picks because you guys know how we are at Butt Fumble Sports. We're team cashing tickets. We want you guys to win as much money as possible. Now, we've avoided the fantasy questions too much. Let's get back to them. Tristan, Madison, and Montgomery for Jonathan Taylor. I'd be okay with it, Tristan. I don't love it, but I'd be okay with it. 2 a.m. Downs, Hill, Mitchell. I'd go Hill. 2 a.m. I'd go with Taysom Hill. Mikey, thoughts on Warren for week 10? I really like it. I claimed K9 to be RB6. Oh, man, love it, Texas Tejano. Love it. Absolutely love it. You think Andrews or Laporta this week? Bounce at Betty, I'd go Laporta. Bounce at Betty, I'd go Laporta. What kind of value do you think I get for Kincaid? Really good value right now. You should consider him a low-end wide receiver 1, high-end wide receiver 2 in terms of value. Ryan, do I trade Saquon for Tony Pollard? Do I like it? No, it's okay for the week. I love it this week. D. Turner, thanks so much for the confetti. The party is on. Thanks to D. Turner 96. Thanks so much for throwing some confetti in the air like you just don't care. Paige, I'll go Justin Herbert. Paige, I'll go Justin Herbert just barely. D. Turner, let's get to your question. Flex Ferguson, Singletary, McKenzie, or Wilson? I'd flex Singletary. D. Turner 96. I'd flex Singletary. As for your quarterbacks, I'd go Levis. So D. Turner 96. Thanks so much for supporting Butt Fumble Sports. I'd go Singletary and I'd go Will Levis. Singletary and Will Levis. Shonk 13, I'd go Noah Brown. Shonk 13, I'd go Noah Brown this week. Bounce at Betty, I'd go Christian Kirk. Bounce at Betty, I'll go Kirk just barely over Lockett. Kirk just barely over Lockett. Hockey Junkie, I'll go Howell over Lawrence. Not by much, but I might just barely. Texas Tejano, I'd go JT. Texas Tejano, I'd go JT. Appreciate you guys who watch across multiple platforms, who subscribe to all of our platforms. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you're following Butt Fumble Sports. Make sure you subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, or Kick, hit the like button on the video. Obviously helps the video go a bit more viral. So appreciate you guys supporting the show. Appreciate you guys being with us. Appreciate you guys being the best mofo audience of all time. So appreciate you guys so much. We're going to give out another pick in 1 second for hitting 14,000 likes. So I'm going to give out another hockey pick. This is another hockey pick for you guys, NHL pick. I am going to take the Sabres plus 1.5. That's the Buffalo Sabres plus 1.5. We've given out 2 hockey picks so far. Stars plus 1.5. Sabres plus 1.5. Those have been the 2 hockey picks. We've given out 5 college football bets, 1 NBA bet, and 2 NFL player prop bets. We give out a lot of picks here at Butt Fumble Sports, if you haven't noticed. Pollard, Bijan, or Devontae for Tyreek. No, you're giving up too much. I understand what you're going for, but no, I wouldn't do it. 2K Sway, I'd go Taysom Hill. 2K Sway, I'd go Taysom Hill. Zane Barnett, I'd go... Man, tricky one. I'll go Pittman. Zane Barnett, I'll go Pittman just barely. Bounce at Betty, I'd go Montgomery and Henry. Bounce at Betty, I'll go Montgomery and Henry. I know Cook has a phenomenal matchup, but I don't trust it given the diversity of carries in that backfield. User 511, Mayfield or Heineke. I'm going to go Baker Mayfield. User 511, I'll go Baker just barely. Braden, I'd go Mike Evans over Devontae Adams. Evans over Adams, Braden. Cohen, great to see you, Cohen. Hope you're having a great Saturday. Do you think Diggs and Jamar will play? I think Jamar Chase will play. I think Stephon Diggs is a little bit harder to predict right now. The benefit, though, it's a Monday night game. Now, makes it trickier for you guys who are trying to figure out, do you start someone else in his place? But personally, I still like Stephon Diggs to play. It's a Monday night game, so getting that extra day of rest, I'm hoping that is what's going to make the difference on that one. But again, I don't know, so that is me kind of projecting a little bit. Not quite sure. Josh Keller, flex. Boyd, Myers, Singletary. Josh Keller, I'll go Boyd just barely over Singletary. Josh, Boyd over Singletary just barely. F, trade away Wilson and Najee to get Waddle. I'd be okay with it, F, yes. User 69, I'd go Boyd over Dotson. Boyd over Dotson. Ty, I'd go Evans over Downs. Evans over Downs. Fort Squatter, is Khalil Herbert a good player to get off the waiver wire and put on my IR? Not really. I think it's too week-to-week matchup based, and I think Deontay Foreman's taken over the running back 1 position. Geno Smith or Will Levis, I'd go Will Levis over Geno Smith. Will Levis over Geno Smith. DJ Vibes. I'd go White over Cook, believe it or not. The better matchup is Cook, but I'd go White given his production of late. William Creek. Great to see you this morning, William. I'm going to lean just slightly towards David Montgomery, just barely over Javonte Williams. Really like all three players, but I'd go Montgomery would be my number one. Williams would be number two. Cohen, I'd go Drake London. Cohen, I'd go Drake London over Tyler Boyd. Depressed Bears fan, Adams and Laporta for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Depressed Bears fan, I don't love that trade. It's okay, but I don't love it, depressed Bears fan. I actually don't know if Amon-Ra St. Brown gets you enough value in exchange, so I'm not big on it. And Taysom Hill or Dalton Kincaid in a PPR. I'll go Dalton Kincaid just barely, DN. Very close, but I'll go Dalton Kincaid. Like them both, though. I've noticed that he performs better when Debo plays. Ty, you're absolutely right. There are certain players across the league who actually perform better when that coverage isn't on them, you know, the heavy defensive coverage. Ty, you're absolutely right. When that safety help, when that double team is on Ayuk, he doesn't perform as well. He likes having Debo there as the Batman so he can be the Robin. Mayfield or Russell Wilson. I'd go Mayfield. Mayfield over Russell Wilson. ZB start two. I would start McLaurin and Johnson. ZB, I'd start McLaurin and Johnson. Emmett, K9, and Kyler for Saquon. Yes. Emmett, I would do the deal. Jordan, Montgomery or Cook. Jordan Height, I'd go Montgomery. I'd go Montgomery over Cook. Call me Los. Okay, Los. I'd go Zeke. I'd go Zeke. I actually think Zeke could get a lot of carries tomorrow. The Indianapolis Colts give up a lot of rushing attempts. I could see Stevenson and I could see Zeke going over their rushing attempts total. Did we give out a pick for 14,000 likes? I can't remember. I think we did. When we hit 16,000 likes, we'll give out another pick. So at 16,000 likes, we're going to give out another pick for you guys. We're going to make it another college football bet. How about that? We'll give out another college football bet at 16,000 likes. So tap that screen if you're watching on TikTok. If you're watching over on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick, we always appreciate you guys hitting us up and hitting that like button as well. What's my upset of the week? Well, you're going to have to go check out our website. You're going to have to check out our newsletter or SHARPZ to see my upset of the week, Ty. That said, I do give out my favorite bets of the week in our newsletter. Every Sunday morning, we put out a newsletter through our website, buttfumblesports.com, with my favorite bets of the day. That's my favorite NFL picks and my favorite player prop bets. It's not every bet that I give out. It's my favorite bets. My favorite bets go out in our newsletter every Sunday morning at 6 a.m. If you want to sign up for that newsletter, go to our website, buttfumblesports.com. That's buttfumblesports.com. Sign up for the free newsletter. It comes in your inbox at 6 a.m., so there's plenty of time to get your bets in, whether it's for the Germany game or the 1 p.m. games. So make sure you go to our website, buttfumblesports.com. No matter where you're watching, there should be a link in the bio that takes you right to our website. Sign up for the free newsletter. Get my favorite picks in your inbox tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. So make sure you guys do that today. Illegal bug trader number 2. Should I give Pacheco, Ayuk, and Myers for Keenan Allen and Robinson? No, I think you asked this earlier over on YouTube, and the answer is no, I don't like the trade. I don't think you're getting enough in exchange. Eric, I'd go Boyd. Eric, I'd go Boyd just barely over Gibbs. Joshua, I'd go Colts defense. Joshua, I'd go Colts defense. Should I drop Zach Moss? Eric, I wouldn't drop him just yet. I still think he has value. Brad Landis, trade Justin Herbert, Puka, and Nico Collins for Mahomes and Cup. Brad Landis, I'm okay with it. Yeah, I would be okay with it. Wingman, who do I drop to bring Connor off IR? Ooh, good question. I'd probably drop JSN. Sorry, had a crazy pause there. Sorry, guys, but I got to run. Sorry, guys, but I got to jump off really quick. Just got hit up about something that I got to go take care of. Guys, I will be back this afternoon. I'm going to do multiple shows today, so make sure you guys hit up that follow button. Hit that follow button now. Make sure you guys follow us. We will be live later this afternoon. I'm going to do multiple shows today, so make sure you guys hit that follow button. I'm going to drop a few more college football picks for you guys right now. Because I'm leaving a little bit earlier than I expected, I'm going to give out a bunch of picks right now. So perk up those ears, pay attention. I'm going to drop a bunch of picks on you guys, okay? These are college football picks I like. I'm taking Oklahoma on the money line, guys. Oklahoma on the money line is the next pick that I'm giving out. I also like Arizona, Colorado, over 51.5. That's Arizona and Colorado over 51.5. One last college football bet for you guys before I go. Ole Miss, Georgia. I'm going to take under 61.5. That's Ole Miss and Georgia under 61.5. I got to go run off right now. I will be back later live this afternoon. I will be live later tonight. So make sure you guys hit that follow button. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you do not miss our show because I will be back live later this afternoon to talk more fantasy football and more sports with you guys. So no matter the platform, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, or Kick, make sure you hit the follow button, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you're with us for our afternoon shows because we will have more Butt Fumble Sports commentary later this afternoon. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hope you guys continue to follow us, and hope you guys come back for our afternoon show later today. Until then, hope you guys have a wonderful afternoon.